Much for joining for today's live session. I have three interesting people with me. First, we have Arjun, who has been an EYRC participant before. He's won the EYRC, he's been an intern, and he's joined e-Yantra. So, we have someone who is absolutely experienced today to share his insights with you and also take up questions that you may have. Also, we have Kostov and Kavya, two of our interns of this year, with us to share their journey and how they managed this competition and academics. So, before we get on to this Power Pack session, let me also remind you that the last day for registration of EYRC is 17th of September. And the e-Yantra Innovation Challenge, which is EYIC, is the registrations are starting from 18 September. And these two are our signature competitions. It not only offers an amazing opportunity to learn, but it also offers you a chance to get the most coveted internship at e-Yantra IIT Bombay in 2021. So let's really gear up and really, get on to this journey of learning and discovering and, trying to crack the competition. So also, I would like to say in this pandemic, in this lockdown, these competitions have been designed in a manner so that, everyone can collaboratively work in an environment very smoothly. So let's get on with this show, with this talk, and let me invite Arjun to share his journey of EYRC, of his internship, and what does he take back after being part of e-Yantra. Yeah, Arjun, welcome on board.
Hi, thank you, Anit sir, for that wonderful intro. And hi, everyone out there. It's a little awkward with no feedback from the audience, but let's see how it goes. So I was thinking what I should tell you guys today, and I thought for a while and decided, I was thinking I should probably tell you my beautiful story of my life, and then maybe you'll take away something from it, but then realize that may not be the best thing for me to do now. Instead, I'll just jump it, and also it may not be as entertaining as Three Idiots was, right? So I'll tell you why I said Three Idiots very soon, but yeah, point is I'll jump straight to the moral of the story. If I told you my story, what would be the moral of the story? What I learned from my last 4-5 years as a student of engineering, right? So the main message I want to convey to you guys is competition. I think you might have seen the title for today, academics and competition relationship, right? So I want to say competition complements academics, right? Competition complements academics. That is the main message that I want to send. People might also think competitions distract you from academics, right? It takes you away from studies and gets you into all these fun stuff that is not very relevant to academics. That might be an impression. So I want to say things against it, which is say competition complements academics. But before that, I want to talk about something else and come to that point, which is there are two kinds of mindsets that you might have had when you joined engineering or decide to get into engineering. I surely had one of these two. Both of these, it's a mix and match. And here's where the Three Idiots comes in. You might either be having the Chatur's mindset or the Rancho's mindset, right? Chatur is obviously going to have that mindset of being successful, driven by success, right? You want the money, you want the good job, you want a good lifestyle, and that is driven by success. So that is one. Or your other mentality could be Ranchos, and that is you're driven by the beauty of how things work in engineering, learning from nature, and implementing what you learn from nature in what you create. and innovating and solving real world problems, all these kinds of things. That is what might be driving you, and that's why you chose engineering. So if you had the first one, Chatur's mindset, it's clearly good for you to take part in the competitions, because I guess it's a very easy explanation that how does one stand out in the crowd of people who have done BTechs and have the same CGPA as you do. The only thing that differentiates you from the crowd is these kinds of other experiences that you have, right? So that's an easy explanation for why you should probably consider taking into competitions. But what I'm more interested in is the rancho mindset, right? The mindset that is driven by actual excitement of engineering, right? So that if you get into, I think every person who has the rancho mindset would have had the debate in his hostel room, his or her hostel room, about how the education system is absolutely terrible. You just memorize things and you write exams and the next day you forget everything. How the professor doesn't communicate the actual spirit of the idea and instead just gives you a set of rules and instructions to pass the exam, and these kinds of debates. So if you look at all that, obviously, if you look at the India population, which is millions, right? You couldn't design one educational system that will solve all these problems. And instead, what you will have to probably do is find your own path, right? Instead of hoping that someone solves the problem for you, you will have to solve your own problems. So I just put all these category things that you want in yourself as something called the treasure, right? I just put it all inside a treasure box. And let's say things like problem solving ability, logical thinking, having the actual understanding, the deep knowledge of things, and learning to learn, that is also a pretty useful skill to have. So all this is the treasure, which is usually lacking in the educational system and not taught to you in classes, right? That's what you aim to achieve. And that's where e-Yantra comes in. So you have this gap in the educational system that you want to fill. And in fact, the entire initiative of e-Yantra was driven by exactly this goal. Kavya sir found the lack of teaching embedded systems in a classroom being not so effective, and instead decided to explore other ways of teaching the same concept that makes you stick to the knowledge and understand it in the deeper sense, right? So that entire idea of thinking, that is what got me to e-Yantra. So at least the rancho side of me, that's what got me into e-Yantra. But obviously the Chatur side of me was happy that it's in IIT Bombay. You have a better chance of getting master's degree, or maybe the good salary that you might get, I don't know, all those other things that the Chatur mind thinks of. But what got me really excited about e-Yantra was the fact that its mission, its vision is something that I totally am in love with. So that's about e-Yantra. But I think I've been pretty abstract and telling you why you should do competitions and why competition complements academics. Have not come to the straight point of concrete examples, right? So I'll give you some concrete examples from my life that I've observed that really convinced me that competitions is the way to go. And so I hope you guys are paying a special attention to this, because this is the thing that I would go tell my first year self, that this is the advice that you should take into your mind, so that you keep this in mind and correct things that you did wrong in BTech, right? These are the things I would tell. So first thing, I'll talk about maths, right? Engineering mathematics was a subject I think all of us have in our first year, and we just take it as a bunch of rules that you need to memorize and just pass through the exam, right? That's how we look at maths, unless you already have explored the real reason why we study maths and why you need it in your engineering and all that. So very recently, in my last 1 year of experience in e-Yantra, that is when I realized how much I need all these maths tools that I was supposed to study in first year, but I never paid attention to that. I just passed the exam and forgot about it. And now I realize, oh, that was actually extremely useful. Things like linear algebra, calculus, all these are things that you very commonly see in all engineering colleges, but do you actually remember them after you leave the engineering college? That is the question, right? Now, in fact, once I'm out of engineering, that is when I'm really learning it, because I found the need for learning it. And that's about maths, and why the e-Yantra community inspired me to get into maths. That's something I want to say. And also, there was one more subject. This will be my last story. instead of this monologue is going too long probably. Product design and prototyping was a subject that I had in my BTech, and that's almost like a history subject, right? You just without even the story. History at least has a story, but this particular subject is just a bunch of facts and just paragraphs and flowcharts to be memorized. You don't get excited when you see this subject. But I would say, well, you'd be surprised to hear this. Most ambitious projects I've taken up, all of them very much use this particular knowledge that I gained from this particular subject, and that's why it's stuck so deeply in my head, why I need this particular knowledge. And one example is the last internship. I mentored a particular project called AUV, Underwater Vehicle Design, and the interns really found it very helpful to have this particular systematic approach of designing products, right? So that is what I would like to say. And also, yeah, I think I'll conclude by saying, I said all these things that you don't have in your regular education system is a treasure, right? So this treasure is actually there everywhere. It's there in your college, it's there on the internet, it's there in the e-Yantra community. But what e-Yantra does, I feel, the best is give you a map to that treasure. Because how else will you go hunting for the treasure, right? So I feel the best thing that you could do now, if you don't already know where the treasure is and how to find it, is clearly to take part in competitions and take part in the Yantra competitions and help you find the path to that particular treasure. So with that, I'd like to conclude. Thank you.
So wonderful, Arjun. I think you have summarized your journey very beautifully by saying that it's a treasure hunt. So the competition is like a treasure hunt where you're actually discovering many treasures that you have within, and you learn new. And I think the point that you made about competition complements academic is absolutely true. So let's also hear from Kostov Jaiswal, who is from Institute of Engineering and Technology, Lucknow, is a final year student and has interned with e-Yantra. His theme was survey and rescue last year. So I would like to invite him to share his journey and actually share about virtual collaboration. So how to work effectively in this virtual collaboration in this world where we are facing lockdown, pandemic, where we can't meet. So how do you go about it? So Kostov, please do share with us.
So, hello everyone out there. So basically, sir, what we felt about the internship and the RC projects. So during the internship, since it was a pandemic and we didn't had the chance to visit IIT Bombay in person, so I think it was a pretty amazing job by the e-Yantra mentors itself, that they came out with the Discord server and everything and set up everything so beautifully that we could collaborate. We collaborated like it wasn't. I think even if we were present physically, I think that would be something different. But virtually, it was totally different, and it was something very good which came out of it. So like I developed a project named Mobile Robotics using ROS. So when we were collaborating online, it was nothing like I do something and then I pass on to him. Like it was, everything was in live. So I was simultaneously working on something. My colleague was preparing the documents and all the stuff in the background. So it was all going in parallel, and we didn't had any like issues working online. So that was the great thing about the e-Yantra online internship. And regarding my EYRC journey, so I think the whole credit goes to my team. We all, 4 members of my team, we worked continuously. We divided our roles in such a way, like one of us was working on the simulation, some of us were working on the hardware, some of us were working on the algorithm design and the scheduling program. So that's how we divided our work, and we continuously worked like for like 2 hours regularly. So that's how we could like easily manage our academics as well as the competition side by side. What many people don't realize is that they start working on their competition deadlines and tasks when the last 3 days are remaining. I think that's what all engineers do. They start preparing when the last moment comes. So the key to success in e-Yantra robotics competition is like you have to be persistent with your attempts and your work. You have to work regularly, and you don't have to commit a very large amount of time like the other competitions. You have to just work continuously, and you will get to the finals. So that's how I would like to summarize my e-Yantra robotics competition and internships experience.
Right, Kostov. I think you nicely put it that, it's like, how you water the plant every day, and, later on you see that, okay, there is a tree out there, so, and then you have the fruits, etc. So similarly, every day you make efforts, you put in efforts, and that's how you can manage everything. It's academics also and the competition also. So while we've heard Kostov share his experience, let me also invite Kavya Mulya, who is also a final year student at KJ Somaya College of Engineering, Mumbai. And her theme was supply bot, and she had also participated in hackathon. So Kavya, can you share with us, like, you participated in hackathon, you participated in EYRC, you had academics. So how did you manage all of it?
Yes, thank you for this opportunity. Basically, as you told, I had been part of Yantra for three initiatives right now. Uh, one thing is that Yantra is totally different from other internships. Like normally, how it happens is like तुम लोग बैठते हो और तुम लोग से काम करवाया जाता है. इधर तुम लोग से सिर्फ काम करवाया नहीं जाता है, तुम लोग को दिया भी जाता है. लाइक you are so very nurtured, so very taken care of that you feel start feeling good. You like you start liking yourself, you start liking your work, whatever you are doing. Apart from that, my perspective towards life also changed a lot. Like there were many expert talks in the internship, which were not only technical but also non-technical, like geopolitics, literature, mental health, etc. तो ये सब देख के मुझे रियलाइज हुआ कि आई शुड नॉट बी फोकसिंग ऑन ओनली माई सेल्फ, बट आई ऑल्सो शुड कॉन्ट्रीब्यूट समथिंग टू द सोसाइटी, बिकॉज it is society where I live in. Apart from that, from Yantra, I learned that like we have Kavi sir, and he has such a magnetic personality. Like अगर तुम लोग उनके साथ थोड़ी देर पे बैठ जाओगे ना, तो तुम लोग को अगर तुम लोग खुद के ऊपर बिल्कुल विश्वास नहीं करते, भरोसा नहीं करते, तो you would start feeling confident about yourself. You start believing in yourself. He has such a amazing personality. Like I don't know from like मैं लाइफ में कहाँ क्या करने वाली हूँ जाके, लेकिन I would always surely stay in touch with Yantra community. Regarding EYRC, like how I managed my academics and EYRC, Yantra, etc. Like I was a part of robotics club too. But the best thing I felt about Yantra is that यहाँ सब कुछ तुम्हें एक एक स्टेप सिखाया जाता है, लाइक स्टेप बाय स्टेप, टास्क बाय टास्क. यू स्टार्ट लर्निंग ईच एंड एवरीथिंग. लाइक you start developing confidence in that subject which you are learning, and this is not provided anywhere, I guess. Like this is the first place I experienced it. Also, like when you complete the final task, जो मेजर 48 आवर्स का लास्ट टास्क होता है, उसके बाद इवन completing of that completion of that task also gives a great achievement वाला फील. लाइक वो अचीवमेंट वाला फील जो है वो इट इज वेरी बेस्ट. ऑल्सो लाइक अभी तुम लोग को ऐसा लगता होगा कि मतलब मैनेज कैसे होता है. मैं एक एग्जांपल दूंगी. मेरे टास्क 1.3 आई गेस. तो उसमें क्या हुआ था, नॉर्मली सब टास्क हम लोग कैसे मैनेज कर लेते थे, लेकिन टास्क 1.3 वाज वेरी डिफिकल्ट काइंड ऑफ थिंग. लाइक वी हैड बीन स्टक फॉर एटलीस्ट 2 weeks इन दैट टास्क. हम लोग कर रहे थे. हम लोग कितना रिसर्च किया, सब मटेरियल्स वगैरह पढ़ लिया, लेकिन हम लोग को समझना नहीं था कि क्यों नहीं हो रहा हम लोग से. एंड 2 weeks होने के बाद इट वाज लाइक अभी नेक्स्ट वीक हम लोग का एग्जाम्स भी था. तो वी वर लाइक कि नहीं होने वाला, लाइक छोड़ दो, इसलिए नहीं जमने वाला. बट देन इट वाज लाइक मतलब पता नहीं करना था. और वो मतलब हम लोग थोड़े देखे, हम लोग ने सोचा थोड़ा सा ट्राई करते हैं. एंड फाइनली लाइक इन द नोट्स, मतलब जो भी यंत्र ने स्टडी मटेरियल प्रोवाइड किया है, अगर यू रीड इट वेरी केयरफुल एंड यू मतलब अगर तुम लोग को बेसिक्स वगैरह कॉन्सेप्ट क्लियर हो ना, तो यू कैन इजीली मतलब कर पाओगे. लाइक हम लोग ने टास्क 1.3 फिर कर दिया, एंड लाइक हम लोग ने इतना अच्छे से कर लिया था, हम लोग को फुल मार्क्स मिला था उसमें. सो दैट वाज समथिंग लाइक तुम लोग कुछ भी हो ना तो छोड़ना मत, करते रहना, मतलब होगा कैसे, मतलब करना, अगर तुम लोग करना चाहोगे ना तो सब कुछ होगा। एंड मुझे और एक बात शेयर करना था लास्ट, पक्का लास्ट, कि यंत्र में ऐसे हम लोग टीम मैनेजमेंट बोलते हैं, मतलब हम लोग बोलते हैं कि यंत्र कैसे मैनेज करेंगे एकेडमिक्स और सब कंपटीशन वगैरह, बट see you are giving one or two tasks and you are four members in it. There is a reason why you all are like चार members हो। like मेरे केस में कैसा था, there was one guy called Pinak, मेरा teammate, he did electronics and IP मतलब image processing वाला task. I did the embedded part of the project. Samiksha was well versed with both embedded and image processing, so she helped us both. And Sumit was the mech guy, so he built the bot and made the striking mechanism. If you know the supply bot, so in this way, if we divide the task ना इतना भारी नहीं लगता है, मतलब सब कुछ हो जाता है मैनेज। सच्ची में अगर तुम लोग करना चाहोगे तो हो जाएगा। So you should give a try. It is worth it.
Right, Kavya. So I think where there's a will, there's a way. That's what I take back from what you shared, and I think the fact that you shared about that you love e-Yantra and like you want to be in touch with e-Yantra, that itself tells us that how impactful this whole journey has been for you. Both EYRC hackathon and the entire e-Yantra experience, the internship. So let me take this further and ask Kostov. So Kostov, is this your first competition? Like, did you participate in any other competition before?
Actually, yes, I have participated in some other competitions like go-karting, like where you design your go-kart and go racing with it. So the major difference that I feel that e-Yantra has from those competitions is that e-Yantra doesn't leave you. Like, it has a great community. For example, it starts with, like, if you don't have any skill, first of all, the other competitions are like you need to know some basic stuff to get into those competitions. But with e-Yantra, you just need to have basic programming knowledge, a very basic programming knowledge, to get into the e-Yantra competitions. Everything else, they teach us on the way. Like, for the first 3 months, it is the like teaching part. So for the first 3 months, I learned about the various concept of like control systems, algorithm design, and image processing. So like the first 3 months is the learning phase, and the next 3 months you actually implement on the hardware. Based on your performance of the previous 3 months, you implement that on the hardware. So if you are learning constantly, if you are you are regular with your studies in the academics as well as with the e-Yantra, I think you can easily manage e-Yantra competition with your academics. So that's how it is easier to manage e-Yantra as compared to other competitions with your academics. So that's a great thing about e-Yantra. So that's it, I suppose.
Right, Kostov. So I think very, very useful information that you shared, from your own experience about how to balance it out. So Kavya, I would like to know from you that, managing academics, e-Yantra competition, there might have been many issues that must have come up. So how did you all go about it? Like, how did you tackle? Was there a strategy? Did you all plan something special? Or like, is there some mantra or something that you have that how this is how I went about it? So can you share with us?
See, first of all, I think whenever you get a task, you divide it among your four of the team members, and really make sure that all the team members are really interested, because friends से काम नहीं चलता, अगर interest हो तो ही मतलब अच्छा बन पाता है, जो भी बनना हो तो you divide it among yourself and try to complete it before the deadline. As Kostov rightly pointed out, लास्ट में मिनट तक रुके रहोगे तो कुछ नहीं होता, उससे अच्छा अगर एक वीक का डेडलाइन है तो स्टार्टिंग के 2 days में खत्म कर दो, अगर इट्स अ वेरी सिंपल टास्क, डोंट वेट टिल द लास्ट डे। तो इफ एंड सी इट इज मतलब वो हो सकता है, ऐसा नहीं कि इम्पॉसिबल है, यू कैन कंप्लीट इन 3 to 4 days if you are giving some amount of dedicating some amount of your time to e-Yantra. And supposingly if suppose मेरा नहीं हुआ, ठीक है, मेरा फ्रेंड का हो गया, तो ही वुड बी टीचिंग मी कि काव्या ऐसे ऐसे मैंने किया, तू देख तेरे को ये यूजफुल हो रहा है कि नहीं हो रहा है। फिर ओके आई वुड बी लाइक ओके ओके ऐसे ऐसा, फिर मैं उसको अपना प्रॉब्लम बताऊंगी कि मेरे को ये प्रॉब्लम आ रहा है, तुझे क्या लगता है, क्या तेरे पास कुछ सोल्यूशन है। एंड इट्स लाइक ऐसे इट इज टीम वर्क बेसिकली, यू शेयर योर नॉलेज एंड यू टीच ईच अदर एंड इट गेट सॉल्व। एंड ऑनेस्टली जो एज कौस्तुभ ने जो भी बोला, इट बेसिकली समराइजेस लाइक तुम लोग को जो नोट्स वगैरह मिलता है ना, तुम लोग अगर उतना भी बेसिक नॉलेज रखते हो तो यू आर एबल टू क्रैक इट। एंड आई मेनली फोकस ऑन टीम मैनेजमेंट बिकॉज आई फील दैट इज द मोस्ट इम्पोर्टेंट पार्ट। यस
Right, Kavya. So I think team management is very important, like you said, and dividing the work. So Kavya and Kostov, so since you all shared this, I have one query that's coming up is that so you said that if the task is simple, do it in 2 days. But let's say a difficult task is there, and let's say it goes.
So to handle that pressure, there is a reason, like Kavya said again, like previously. So there is a reason there are 4 members in the team. The 4 members are to divide the pressures. So whenever a difficult task comes in, you divide your work among yourself, and you can easily go through it. I don't think that any task in e-Yantra is so much difficult that you need to like you need to feel that, oh, ab nahi hua, to like we are out of the competition. It is all about persistence. It is all about your hard work. It is all about your dedication. So if you are dedicated, you can easily crack. There is nothing like कि हमें कुछ नहीं आता, like we are हमें कुछ नहीं आता और हम इसलिए नहीं कर सकते competition. Actually this competition is framed in such a way that जिनको कुछ नहीं आता वो बहुत कुछ कर सकते हैं. That's the way. And for those people like who say that we don't have time from academics, there is one thing in Hindi I would like to say, like समय निकालने से निकलता है. तो समय अगर आप निकालोगे तो डेफिनेटली निकलेगा, कहीं ना कहीं से वो निकलता है, दैट कम्स इन। एंड वंस यू हैव दैट टाइम, यू इन्वेस्टेड इन e-Yantra एंड श्योरली यू वुड नॉट रिग्रेट इट।
राइट कौस्तुभ, सो समय निकालने से निकलता है, और जिन्हें कुछ नहीं आता, व्हाट डिड यू से, जिन्हें कुछ नहीं आता
जिन्हें कुछ नहीं आता वो भी कर सकते हैं, मतलब आई वांट
राइट। सो जिन्हें कुछ नहीं आता डेफिनेटली पार्टिसिपेट इन e-Yantra रोबोटिक्स कंपटीशन, बिकॉज आप बहुत कुछ कर सकते हो और बहुत कुछ पा सकते हो ये कंपटीशन के बाद में। तो काव्या, यू वांट टू ऐड एनीथिंग?
यस, सिंस ये लास्ट मोमेंट वाला पॉइंट आया, लाइक इन आवर सेकंड लास्ट टास्क ऐसे हुआ था कि हम लोग को बहुत लाइक our Mac guy was मतलब वो अमेरिका गया था because he had an like he got selected in a competition some different so basically Mac guy was not there and हम लोग को kicking वो striking mechanism से strike करना था and there was a no Mac guy, so we मतलब हम लोग तीनों कर रहे थे and Pinak was handling most of the part and last में क्या हुआ, like 12 o'clock को submission था and हम लोग का 10 o'clock को वो टूट गया एंड हम लोग बैठ के सोच रहे थे वो शिट सेकंड लास्ट टास्क गया, हम लोग ऐसे गए ऐसे निकल गए, ऐसे हम लोग बैठ के सोच रहे थे। फिर हमने फटाफट वो जो प्रेशर होता है जब भी काम होता है ना, फटाफट बैठ के वो टीथ वगैरह प्रॉपर किया, वी फिटेड डिफरेंट एंड फिर फाइनली वो हो गया। लाइक मतलब इट वाज नॉट वेरी प्रॉपर, लाइक वो बहुत मतलब जल्दी में किया था बट सबमिट हो गया था टास्क। हाँ, तो होता है वैसे।
Wow, that's wonderful, Kavya. I think that'll be very useful for our viewers, and yes, the participants who are going to participate in this time's competition, because there are going to be many such moments. तो घबराइए मत, सीखते जाइए और अप्लाई करते जाइए। So you have heard from not only our finalists and interns of this year, we also have a mentor, Arjun, who has shared his story, his journey, been part of e-Yantra now. So I hope you've gained some useful insights, and this must have been motivating for you to really give your best in the competition. So do apply in e-Yantra robotics competition. And also this year, it's not just national, it's international. So, the scope to learn, the scope to interact with people, or the scope to learn from so many people is so much more. So, definitely don't miss the opportunity. register yourself for e-Yantra robotics competition and visit the portal for details if you want some. Portal.eyantra.org. So thank you so much for joining for this live session. I would like to also thank Arjun, Kostov, Kavya for being the panelist today, sharing the insights. It was really wonderful. And thank you to the entire e-Yantra team, which is working behind the scene to make this session a success. So thank you everyone. Enjoy your evening. Bye-bye.